We've received quite a bit of interest in my Free to Be workshop, so to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop, and we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. Let's begin here today by acknowledging that every one of us at some level wants to have some form of influence in the people that we have ongoing relationships with. It may be on a small level, it may be on a large level, but you know that you have skills and capabilities, and you know other individuals have needs, and you want to be able to influence other individuals so that their quality of life can go up and you feel like you're living into some form of purpose. That's a very natural kind of a thing. Now, when we're dealing with narcissists, boy, do they want to be influential, but their notion of what that means is not the same as what you and I might think. A narcissist approaches relationships thinking very strongly from the inside, I have to be a somebody. And so, and by the way, this is true with the overt, the grandiose type of narcissist, or even with the covert. You just don't see her up front quite as much. But it's like, no, I need people to consult with me. They need to filter their way of thinking through me. That means I'm an influential person. And so they have kind of an in versus out kind of a mentality. I'm the in person, you're the out person. You need to get over here into my way of thinking. Now, in trying to be influential, it's absolutely astonishing the illogic that they use as they try to wield that influence. They use tools or they use skills that go completely against the grain in terms of being a truly long-term influential person. And I'm going to go through 5 illogical ideas that narcissists use as they attempt to build influence. And these are going to be 5 head scratchers. It's like, do you not see the inappropriateness of this? And of course, the answer is no, they don't. One of the first illogical ideas that narcissists operate with is they think that they can build influence based upon power and dominance and control. They're going to be very unambiguous about letting it be known, hey, look, there's a certain way you're supposed to do things and you have to filter things through me. They can be pushy, they can be stubborn, they can have an agenda that they want to force on other individuals. They have to be right. And basically, they're in their attempt to be influential. It's like, you need what I have to bring to the equation, and you'd better figure it out right now. Now, it could be that some of the things that they say down at the idea level can have some legitimacy. You know, they may want cooperation. They may want you to consider an idea that actually may be sensible. But when it's accompanied by this dominance and control, how likely are you to be able to say, you know, I really want to follow with this person? So their intimidation and their dominance is something that they think is going to bring them, that position of honor. But all it's going to do is it's going to wear thin over time. And if you don't go along with whatever it is they're trying to push, then they're just going to stay in a blame kind of a mode. Domination is their way of saying, I'm a somebody and don't you forget it. A second illogical way that they attempt to wield influence, they're not at all bashful about leading with anger and punishment. This kind of goes along with that first one about dominance and control. When you disagree with a narcissist, if that narcissistic person were actually to go into the healthy realm and say, well, wait a minute, I want to have an influence. And so one of the best influential things you can do is to say, well, let's talk about it. If you disagree, though, with a narcissist, they're not going to think that way. Basically, you're going to have to watch out because they're going to try to shut you down. And here comes the anger, here comes the rage or harshness. How dare you? And they can have a victim's kind of a mentality. Look how you're making my life miserable, so they can go into a contempt mode towards you, punishment. And you might think, what are they trying to accomplish when they go into all of these angry kinds of patterns? And the answer is, oh, they're trying to be influential. They're trying to make you drop whatever it is that's important to you and come over to their way of thinking. Short term, maybe they can get their way because people really don't like their anger, but vindictiveness is not a good way to be influential. Like I say, short term, you might go along just to shut them up. Long term, you're going to be thinking, get away from me. I can't stand to be in your presence. And I know many of you have had that kind of reaction. A third illogical approach that they take as they try to have influence, and that is they make the assumption that emotional or personal bonding is unnecessary. In fact, they'll scoff at the whole notion of personal bonding. By the way, when I'm listening to a speaker, whether it's at a conference or at some other kind of place, there's one thing that I watch for that tells me if I really want to pay attention to what they have to say, and that is, as I'm listening to them, I'm thinking, I'd like to have lunch with that person. Or I'd like to just sit on my back patio and shoot the breeze with this individual. In other words, if I am listening to someone and they have a real personable, approachable style, it's like, I want to know more. And it may be that heart kind of connection may be something that's different from what they're talking about, but you like to hear people, and they have influence when this is someone who cares about the interior. Narcissists, though, it's like, I don't need to know that interior kind of stuff. In fact, you're replaceable. And so all I need to know is you're in my presence. You need to do what I say. And they don't really take the time to have that sense that says, I'm approachable. I'm somebody that truly wants to know about other individuals from the inside out. That way, as I try to have an influence, it's going to be more spot on and it's going to be good for both of us. They can't think like that. That's their illogic. A fourth element of illogic that accompanies their attempts to be influential, and that is they gather data about you thinking that gives them an inside road. Now, in healthy relationships, yes, we want to gather information about other individuals, but we do so with a sense of empathy. The more we know each other, the more we understand the perspective or the feelings or the backstory that goes along with the person. It's like, well, now we can make our discussions that much more poignant and much more specific to that other individual. The narcissist, they're collecting data on you, but in their attempt to be influential, it's like, okay, if I know this, then I can do that, and then you're going to be beholden to me. And so they collect data so that they can figure out how to squeeze you or how to shame you or how to guilt you or hold you in some sort of way where you think, well, I better do what they want because they know some of the things, personal things I don't want them to know about me. And so in their mind, you're just simply a transaction. You're someone to be used. And they have an influence by thinking, well, if I can find out enough stuff about you, then that means I'm going to be in the power position. That's illogical because short term, maybe they can get somewhere. Long term, you're thinking, again, I don't like being around this person. And then how about a fifth illogic that they use? And that is they operate with this inappropriate notion about boundaries. They think boundaries are for me, but they're not for anyone else. Now, when we talk about boundaries, we talk about having a set of principles and standards and a self-definition. And so when we talk about having good boundaries, it's like I define me, you define who you are, and then we'll figure out how we can maneuver with you being you and me being me, and that's a good thing. Their idea of boundaries is they're going to be impenetrable. It's like, hey, look, I've got a definition for who I am, and it's your job to get inside my definition, and that's that. And if you say, well, I want to be a separate and distinct kind of a person, it's like, you don't get to do that. Now, I get to do that, so I get to do all of the declaration about where our parameters are going to be, but I don't want you to do that. And so they blur your boundaries, and they have impenetrable boundaries on their own side, which is not really healthy boundaries at all. One word that narcissists truly do not like, and that's the word inclusiveness. They don't want to include you, and that's illogical because, life is all about give and take and back and forth. They wanted to have that exclusiveness. It's all about me. So as you engage with these individuals, I'm hoping you can see that despite the fact that you may not be able to get them to see the light and have logic, there's a gross illogic that they use, and that's coming from a place of their own hurt. And it implies that they have some real dysfunction in their own personal history that they're drawing upon, and they're just pushing that onto you. They've not really come to terms with what is causing them to be that way. They're just bullies. They're forceful people. They're stubborn. And that being the case, they just don't have good insight. So let's go back to that word exclusive. And what we're going to say is, okay, if you want to be this influential, exclusive person, you go right ahead. But you know what that means? You're going to be the exclusive president of a club that I don't want to join. I'm not going to. I want to be with people who include, and when that happens, then that's where influence comes. They don't think like that, but people on Team Healthy do. Now, I hope that videos such as this will give you some good things to think about and help you know what you're dealing with these kind of individuals. If you've not yet hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. Also, you're going to see there's a join button, and it's for an exclusive membership to our Surviving Narcissism Team Healthy, and it allows you to have extra benefits that we're not going to have for the general public. We're going to have weekly question and answer kind of thing, where I'm going to be answering questions that come into me on our community board throughout the week. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to do one each week, and Laura's going to do one each week. Mine's going to be on Wednesday, midweek with Dr. C. In addition, we're going to have extra videos that are not going to be exclusive to there for the public, and articles and things of that nature. So check that out. If you have a need for counseling, then I would encourage you to seek that where you are. And if you don't have somebody that you can find to help you in that respect, we have a sponsor that can help you with online counseling, and we've received good feedback. And I'm a huge believer. If you're stuck or if you're having some struggles, maybe you need an extra set of eyeballs on that, a fresh perspective, and that's what the good counseling can do for you. So seek that out. In addition, we have our websites, survivingnarcissism.tv, drlescarter.com. We have my Free to Be course, which is it's a course. It's very extensive with lots of lessons to go through, and what about you, personal reflections kind of questions. And so if that's something you would like to do for a real time of introspection, then I would encourage you to go there. Links to my books, etc. It's important for you to know that when these people try to have an influence, but they do it with all of these illogical kinds of ways, that these are troubled souls, and they don't know how to do relationships well. And that being the case, it's okay. It's not just okay. It's necessary for you to realize they're coming at me with illogic, but my good common sense says I'm going to go to a place where people appreciate who I am, where there's a sense of give and take flow that's there. And in doing so, I'm going to be able to operate with calm steadiness. That's what I stand for. That's what I seek.